We're almost to the banners, but we're actually live. So, hi guys.
Sorry.
We skipped the banner for this time
What's
around.
up, guys? Welcome back to another episode.
I was on the wrong tab. Sorry.
Yeah, he just messed up. That's the way it goes. Live YouTube. So, guys, welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. We got comic books to talk about. Not a whole lot of news. We do have the Spider-Man news piece that we're going to be talking about. But before we get into those, I think we're doing comics today, right? Is that what we're starting off with?
I believe so.
Yep.
We are.
Yeah. So obviously, guys, we'll take your questions, your comments, everything live. And welcome to the show. So we're going to kick this bad boy off right away. And we're going to talk about, I got to make the switch to the big books. And we're going to talk about a new book that came out this week, Strange Issue 1. This one is written by Jed MacKay. We have a new Sorcerer Supreme. Obviously, it was mentioned a lot in that comic book. But just in case you didn't read, the death of Doctor Strange, Clea is the new Sorcerer Supreme. And she makes it not a secret that, her mission is to resurrect Doctor Strange. And when she does that, then Strange will come back with his own book once again. I liked the book. I thought the artwork was good. I thought her being like this much more darker Sorcerer Supreme was kind of cool. Little dialogue heavy, but I liked it. And I liked kind of the end of it because she comes across this character by the name of Harvest Man, but it looked like he resurrected what's the freaking Thor character?
Thunderstrike.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that all about? But overall, I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed the book. It was a good time for me. Kind of took a little while to get to where it needed to, but that's okay. That's kind of how Jed MacKay is. He takes his time getting to certain places he wants to get to, and then he tells a good story.
I like this issue, but I didn't like the beat you mentioned with her wanting to resurrect Doctor Strange. I thought it didn't ruin the issue because I liked the issue. I liked her voice a lot. I thought it opened very well and the artwork was good, but I hate the idea that, death means nothing in comics and
but they even made fun of it in the book though itself.
They did, but it's like, come on. We really need him back already?
But right. I don't think, but yes, that I think Jed MacKay made it no secret that you're going to get Doctor Strange back. I think he did it intentional. That's why he put the Avenger stuff in there. And I think that, yes, the mission here is to get Doctor Strange back. That's obviously the point of this book. How long is it going to take, though? That is the thing. And what she comes across is another thing as well. She thinks this is going to be an easy journey, but I think it's going to be much more difficult than to believe.
Well, when does Multiverse of Madness come out?
It comes out in a few months. So
right?
It's definitely going to be soon.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Kat, though. It's like Cleo, is it Cleo or Cleo? I can't remember.
Cleo.
Yeah, Cleo. So she hasn't been around for a long time, and then she comes back, and now she's mourning Doctor Strange. Is like, oh, well, I haven't seen him in forever, but now that he's gone, I want him back. It's like it's a little too quick. I do agree with that. I mean, obviously, we're going to get him back. Nobody stays dead. That's no big surprise. But I would have liked to.
Number one.
Right. I agree. I would have liked to seen her just kind of, fill the role for a little bit before she decided, you know what, I'm going to bring him back because I got things to do or whatever, But,
right.
But it was still a fun issue. I did enjoy it. I don't think I loved it. It wasn't like, oh my God, I got to read this book. But, I think I had the same reaction to, Moon Knight was a little bit slower to get into. And then it was like, okay, that's really good. And, and so on and so forth, Black Cat. And, I think once he finds his footing with it, for sure, it's going to be a really good series. So.
Yeah,
it's definitely an issue 1 that gave you enough for an issue 2 where you're like, oh, that was fun. It didn't blow my mind and say this was the best issue 1 ever, but I'm like, oh, I liked it enough. I like her enough.
Right.
I like the artwork enough. I'm like, cool, I'll check out the second issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I have trust in his writing. There's very few things that I think I've disliked that he has written. Yeah. So it's like I'm definitely going to be on board and seeing what the whole, obviously we know what the goal is, but how the journey happens, that's what I'm intrigued with, you know?
Yeah. I'd like to see, like, if he comes back, or when he comes back, rather, like, her stay as the Sorcerer Supreme for a little bit. Like, he can't get it back for some reason or whatever.
Right.
I think that'd be fun.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So we have Tevye on the show, Willie on the show, Adam on the show, and the Bronze Page is on the show as well. So welcome, guys. And then Tevye is like, of course, why do we need a new Sorcerer Supreme?
Well, because the other one's dead.
The other one's dead.
They need a Doctor Strange book.
She technically is not a new Sorcerer Supreme. She was the Sorcerer Supreme of what, her realm, or what was it? The dark realm. She's the Sorcerer Supreme of her area. So she kind of knows what it's like to be a Sorcerer Supreme. She's just kind of like a darker version, you know? So she's got to fill the role. Someone's got to be there, or the whole freaking earth falls apart. If you read The Death of Doctor Strange, you understand why there needs to be a Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
We do have a question here from Parker Luck. What's that? Matt Beard. Who are your guys' favorite Detective Comics writer, if you don't mind sharing? I don't know. I don't remember the last time I loved Detective Comics, if I'm being... Yeah. Most people will say James Tynion, because a lot of people like that run, but I did not. So I don't know. It's been a long time since I liked that book.
Maybe Peter Tomasi?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Peter
from
Tomasi
what I remember,
it's on before Tamaki, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was he was the writer right before.
But I didn't think I was reading Detective then either. So
yeah, I don't remember, honestly. Detective is such a weird book because it changes focus and direction so much. It's hard to remember who did what in that one.
It's just that other Batman book. You know?
Right, exactly.
Okay, we do have another question from Tevye on the reverse side. Who's your favorite Action Comics writer? I would say Jeff Johns.
Who wrote Action Comics? Did Tomasi write Action Comics also?
I believe so.
Did.
At some point, yeah.
Right? That was like after the new... He did he introduced John as young, right? Young John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Because he did the Super Sons, I think.
Right.
So I remember I really enjoyed Action Comics. I think it was Action Comics when Tomasi wrote that as well. I think he did a really great job on that too.
Yeah. So, it's so hard with Action and Detective. I don't know. I don't remember runs and story arcs in those books for whatever reason. I mean,
because again, they
thousands
just feel
of issues.
Like the filler comic. They don't, because they also come out at the same time as Superman, and they do what Spider-Man does with Just Amazing, where they have it come out twice a month, but it's because Action's coming out. Actually, I think there was a time where they're coming out every week. There was an Action book or a Detective book, or a Superman book. Like every week, you'd get something out of those stories. So it just all is a mishmash, because it's like when you talk about binging television shows, right? Where you're like, I don't remember those exact episodes because I did it all at the same time. It's kind of like that, because you're reading it all so close together.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I don't tend to reread my weekly comics unless I love an arc. I don't really reread that much.
Yeah, same.
I probably would reread more if I had the time to reread.
Exactly. We have new comics to read.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's talk about Rogue Sun issue 1. This one was done by Perot, the Mighty Morphin writer or Power Ranger. Yeah. This book was really good. I love this book. I thought this was a really good way to introduce a brand new character and a supporting cast, and it just gave you a little bit of everything, right? I mean, it was just like, hey, here's what's his name, Dylan, right? Was it Dylan? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And first you learn about the father dies, then you get introduced to Dylan and you get to learn about him, how he's kind of like this he's not like, I guess you could say he's a bully, maybe a rebel or whatever it is. He just got dumped by his girlfriend. His dad leaves him, and then you get the the whole thing where his dad died. Then you meet the dad's new family, so you get introduced to a whole slew of cast of characters, which has so much potential. Like, really, like, what could these characters be in the future, right? Excuse me. And then you get introduced to the whole Sunstone, which reminded me of like an infinity gem, you know, and then all of a sudden it's left by him. And there was just a lot of stuff there. And then the end, that cliffhanger where it was like his dad is actually still alive. And it's like, it looks like he's going to train his son to be the next Rogue Son, maybe like while undercover.
Kind of reminded me of the Dark Hawk amulet too.
It did. Yeah. I had some Dark Hawk vibes. I had Infinity Gem vibes. I had Batman Beyond vibes. I had a lot of that stuff going on in my head when I was reading this book. But overall, like I said, it was well paced, introduced a little bit of villains, things to come, just everything. And I had a blast with it.
It was a solid first issue. And honestly, the art was really good. It kind of had that Dan Morris style to it. And like you said, it just kind of introduced the pieces really well, and it made me interested to see more. I have a feeling it's kind of going to be like Radiant Black, where I remember the first issue of Radiant Black I liked a lot, but it wasn't like Reign issue 1 where I was like, whoa, that blew my mind. It wasn't until issue 3 and 4 where you're like, whoa, this book is something. And I think that's going to happen with Rogue Son too. Once like we get even more of the pieces, I feel like it's going to blow our mind a bit more. I think this is just like, you know, setting up the chessboard.
Yeah, and I know that you weren't crazy about the introduction in Supermassive, but it made me appreciate it a little bit more because it's like, okay, this is where this character's going. This is where he started, and you kind of fit that together. I like the way that came together. And just all those things I was thinking about too. And it felt like, I mean, it was definitely an origin story, but it felt like an origin story without feeling like an origin story. You know what I mean? It wasn't like beating you over the head with this, you know, this is my secret origin kind of thing.
Yeah,
it was just
like, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. And this is what happened to me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It was literally just like it just happened. And
really organic.
Yeah. It just didn't feel like when I read that issue, I didn't realize that he was going to get possession of that stone and be a superhero by the time the end of that issue actually happened.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And knowing that his dad's like got this other family and he's rich and he's been something. I mean, you're dealing with the human condition so much in this one. And I love that about Radiant Black. It's like you can relate to those characters and you can relate to Dylan here as well in different ways. So.
I'm also very curious to see what's going to happen with this stepbrother and sister.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They weren't happy.
Yeah.
they wanted that gem or whatever it was. The moon's, what did they call it? I don't even remember.
Sunstone, I think.
Sunstone. Yeah. That's what it was.
I wouldn't be surprised if they become their own little heroes.
Exactly. They were like, they wanted the power. So I don't know if like eventually they will become heroes or maybe they will become villains. Like, who knows there?
Yeah. I think, who is it? BDG Comics said they wish to have more New Orleans culture in it. I do appreciate that it's not just like in New York or wherever, it's somewhere different. So hopefully we'll see that more going forward. But yeah, I mean, I agree. But they did reference it for sure.
Yeah.
We do have a super chat. Hey, Comic Uno, I've been looking all over for you. Well, here I am. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Every Tuesday. Yeah.
Every Tuesday right here. 10:15.
Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, for sure.
10:15-ish, I guess you can say.
Yeah. We try our hardest to be 10:15.
We're usually a little ish though.
Not too much ish.
No.
A little ish.
I read the afterword by Ryan. I thought that was really interesting because I related to his journey in that he started off as an artist, and I didn't know that about him. And I thought that was really interesting that the Mass Exodus, when they created Image Comics, that was like something that he aspired to and all this stuff. And, over time switched to writing and then ended up at Image Comics, which I think is a really cool journey and really inspiring for a lot of would-be creators out there.
I did not read the back. I really should. That's
you really should. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. We do have a question here. Mike Manhattan. Hey guys, have you seen the Batman yet? No. I have. Grant has not. Mike has not. Yeah, I went away for the weekend, and then right before we're like, no, we must go see Batman. So like Thursday night, late at night, we're like tiredly going to see Batman for 3 hours, but had a good time.
That's good. All right. They're saying that I heard Batman was good. I heard it was good too.
Yeah.
Did very well in the box office, which is not surprising. A Batman movie, I think, is always going to do well in the box office.
I was pleasantly surprised by it. It was long. There was definitely, I don't think it needed to be 3 hours. I don't think it was. I still think The Dark Knight's a bit better. But I think this is better than like Batman Beyond. Like, I think it was a good first movie, and I'm excited to see where it's going to build. And it was also very comic booky. So if you like the Batman comics, I think it really embraced those. I think the franchise has a lot of potential, is what I learned from that first movie.
That's cool. All right. Well, let's talk about, speaking of Batman, let's talk about Batman issue 121. Man, did that book fizzle out big time.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, what the hell happened? It's just like,
I think Williamson was supposed to have a full run on this book, and then I didn't hate it though.
So. I don't think he was.
I didn't hate the issue though. You hated it?
No, I didn't hate the issue. It completely fizzled out for me. And so I was disappointed because it was like, who is the Abyss, right? Who is this great character? Oh, it's just a little dumb creation from freaking Lex Luthor, big freaking deal. And then it was just like, oh, who is, Batman Incorporated, like, oh, all of a sudden they're bad guys. No, we were just faking it. Just out of factor. And it was, I honestly don't think he was in this for the long haul. I honestly think this was a story he came up with just until they found a writer, because we talked about it and we said that he has too much on his plate. And I think that's what this was. I think it was just kind of a stall tactic until they found the writer that they really wanted.
They also have that crossover coming up, so I'm interested to see what happens with that. I mean, I like the story. I love the art. I mean, it's not like the most memorable story, and obviously, like Lex in particular kind of fizzled out in this issue, but I like the idea of the light situation, especially like visually. I thought that looked interesting. I don't like Ghostmaker. Do not care about that.
Yeah, same thing. I really like the art in this arc. It was really nice and very different style. But and the way Batman was depicted with the black eyes and they shine and everything, I just visually it was really nice. But yeah, I agree with you, Mike, on this issue in particular. The flips of Batman Inc. It's like you said, oh no, we're on the bad side. Oh no, we flipped because we were undercover all this time.
Yeah,
because you gave me that code word, so now it felt too easy, too quick. And it took me completely out of it.
And the Abyss went from this possible top tier character to just some crap. You know, it's so disappointing. We got a super chat here. I wanted from Comic Toby, 420, $5. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm excited about a new LCS in my area with all the variants. Tried it out yesterday and it delivered. Cuts my commute by half. Wow, that's
we love hearing that. Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
Give the comics shop a shout. Yeah, what's the name?
What's the shout? Yeah, let us know what the comic shop is, and we'll shout it out for you. If anybody in that area can go ahead and visit it.
Yeah, as someone that's constantly lived like 30-40 minutes away from my comic shop in the past, it's always good to have one closer.
My daughter had another dance competition this weekend, and this time it was in Lakeland, Florida, which is 2 hours from us that way. And so me and Braden went and did we went comic hunting, and I went for comic shops, and we went to a Coliseum of Comics, which they're around here in Florida. They're like a franchise here in Florida. And they were okay. They were a little bit overpriced, but really nice looking shop. And then we wound up to go into this place called Intergalactic Plastic, where they sell all these, like, they have back issues of comics and a few new comics, not a ton of them, but they sell also old school video games like NES games, Super Nintendo games, and they sold all kinds of just old school action figures, which was badass. That was really cool. And you could also trade in your like action figures and stuff, and they would give you store credit. So I thought that place was really cool. And so we had a good time driving around looking for shops and stuff. So I did a video on it, but it was a blast, man.
Cool.
All right. So what do we got? Got another comment here. Hey, Mike, been watching your channel for years. You got me into comics as a kid.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
now you gotta let us
cool.
know how old you are.
Yeah, Lucas, how old are you now? Because I've been doing my channel for like a long time, dude. So if you were watching my channel when you were 10 and now you're 20, that's crazy. You know?
Yeah, that's nuts. And then that makes me feel old, which is weird.
Yeah, that's kind of weird for me because that makes me and Brant feel ancient, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Nolan Batman movies have embarrassingly bad fights. Bad.
Maybe I haven't seen them in a while, but I don't remember them being horrible. Okay, Lucas is turning 17 this year, so don't feel as bad. I don't think.
So he's still young. This movie needed to be longer than 3 hours. Holy crap!
No, not in my opinion. I was getting tired.
Does any movie need to be longer than 3 hours? Let's be honest.
Only the Beatles documentary, which is 7 hours, and I would watch more.
Oh Lord! Wow.
I had to do a couple of sittings for it, but I went to the movie theater to go see the hour-long rooftop version of it. It's literally just the same movie, except you're only seeing the rooftop in IMAX. So I've seen 8 hours of Beatles footage at that point. Yeah.
This is a good one. Abyss got Snoke, which is true, right? It's the big bad in the comic, and then all of a sudden it's just like
that is
goodbye.
True.
You know what's so interesting? Going back to the Batman thing and talking about 3 hours, the week before that, my dad's a very big Godfather fan, and I have AMC subs, so I get to see movies for pretty much free. I pay $20 a month, and then I get to see whatever movie I want. So I was like, hey, Dad, do you want to go see The Godfather? And I went to go see it, and I've only seen The Godfather in pieces. I've never seen the whole thing, and I was very engaged by it, and it was 3 hours long, and 3 hours went by very quickly. And obviously, you can't really compare the Batman to Godfather,
Right.
But I'm going to compare the time difference of the Batman to Godfather, and I'm like, no, I noticed the time for Batman. I was like, ooh, this could be done. But for the Godfather, I'm like, I want to see part 2, and I wouldn't mind seeing that today. You know, I don't feel that way about Batman. I was like, I could wait to see part 2 for Batman. Or maybe because we read so many comics as well, where it's like I get Batman on the daily. You know, it's not like, you know, most people just getting their Batman content with the movies.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Everyone is really young here. Not me. I might be not old, but I'm not young either, you know? So
all I can say is I'm younger than Mike.
What do you buy 2 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe 45?
Will be. Yeah.
Will be 45. Yeah. So I just turned 47. So yeah. All right, cool. All right, so let's move forward now. We're going to talk about our number 5 book of the week so far. Kat, I'll start with you. What was your number 5 this week?
Mine was Batman. We already talked about it.
Batman. What about you, Brant?
Despite the controversy, Daredevil Woman Without Fear. I thought this was
so much to say.
I thought this was the best issue of the series.
Good book. I like it.
The first 2 issues I wasn't crazy about, but this one I really liked, despite the spoiling tomorrow's Devil's Reign, which we can talk about. But I don't know. I just loved her inner monologue. I felt like it got back to the way I felt she was written better prior to the series, and just that introspective, getting back to who she is, but reconciling the ninja side of her with the Daredevil side of her, and using that to defeat Kraven, and also dealing with like her past with the hand and all that. I thought it was a really solid issue.
Do you think what's going to happen is going to happen, or do you think it's his twin brother?
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Cap.
I was just gonna say I don't know because we already saw him on the cover, so it's like in Daredevil issue 1.
Yeah, and it's like that other lawyer, Goldie or whatever his name was. he seemed like he was in on this. So it seems like she's being set up for something. And I don't know. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But it was frustrating that they got the reading order out of order.
That's
for us.
weird.
I didn't know that happened.
That's
because he wrote both books.
Yeah. It has to be something with the release schedule. Like I shared with you guys prior, Chip Zdarsky put out a newsletter today, and he talked about it, and he was like, "Yeah, you read Devil's Reign first, and then you come back and read this one." And it's like, but why?
But do you
why
think,
release them in that order?
Do you think maybe that box was? I don't know, man. Like, why? That doesn't make any sense because if you have the final Devil's Reign that's the final one, or is there one more after that?
I thought
there's
it was
one more after that. I think there's two.
Okay, so then if there is one more after that, then it does make sense that you would release that one and then release the other one a week later. So that's ridiculous.
I really hated that they spoiled it. That was just like it didn't ruin the issue for me because I actually have not been loving this mini series, which is so weird. It is the same creative team that wrote wonderful Elektra in that original series, and this is just like, why is this here? And I still don't quite understand why this miniseries existed. But I thought, like you said, Brant, it was a better written issue than previous. But I still don't think I needed this miniseries.
No, we could have lived without this one. But as just judging it on this issue alone, I thought it was a really good read, and it felt like I was reading her in the main Daredevil book again, instead of just this weird thing that we had got in the previous two issues.
We do have a couple of comments here. We have Comic Toby who gave us another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I have that t-shirt also, Uno. It's very comfortable and contours well on the torso. Star Wars. It's
always important.
It's a comfy shirt.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm here all for the comfort. I think
I'm
another
wearing
question.
My Batman shirt. That's comfortable.
Ooh. It does look. What are you wearing, Brant?
With all the
it's a wrestling shirt. It says "Outwork everyone."
That looks the least comfortable.
No, it actually is really comfortable though.
So we're all here to wear comfy shirts. That's actually what the whole show is about. We have another question I think is Batman related. Mike Manhattan. So Kat, what did you think about Robert Pattinson as Batman? Do you think people will finally shut the fuck up about him being in Twilight and check out his other movies? I think he was a great Batman. I do agree with a lot of people. I don't think he was a great Bruce Wayne. He was like very like Kurt Cobain Bruce Wayne, where he's just like really grumbling and just very angsty. Yes.
Did he ever talk?
A little bit to Alfred, and it was kind of mean.
It's just in the trailer. He just looks like he's very like.
He's not in it a lot as Bruce Wayne. He's not. He's just Batman a lot in this movie. Right. If that makes you guys feel any better. He was great in The Rover and Good Time. Love him in Good Time. So he's a good actor.
I've only seen him in Twilight and Harry Potter, which he was really good in Harry Potter as well.
Oh, I didn't even know he was in Harry Potter.
Yeah, he was Cedric Diggory in the fourth one, I believe it was.
Cool. All right. So that was your number 5. Brant was Daredevil, or Elektra, or Woman Without Fear, whatever you want to call them. They're all the same thing. My number 5 was The Return of the Nice House on the Lake. We're on issue 7 now, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was great to have the comic book back in again, and really enjoyed how this time around Walter, the main character, kind of erased everybody's memory because they wound up knowing what was going on and they were trying to escape. And now he erased their memory and they're kind of thinking that they're all in this together. And Walter is a part of it now, which was quite interesting. And they're trying to, I guess, find a way to escape or whatever it was. But in the meantime, they're trying to be comfortable again. And they're like, oh, what if we build a freaking house over here and a house over there because we can get packages delivered to us. It was kind of crazy, and we wound up seeing, what was it, the writer or the reporter that's held hostage?
Yeah, Nora, or is it Norm now? I think it's Norm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it?
Whatever.
Yeah.
The person was held hostage, and they're like, why don't you just kill me? And he's like, because I need you to tell this story. I thought it was quite interesting, how he kind of rearranged everything.
Yeah.
Good book, man. It's a pretty good book.
Yeah, I was a little confused at first. I was like,
"Did I haven't read?"
Yeah, no, I was like, I know I read the last. This is
Yeah.
not. Why is Walter involved? But then, yeah, I quickly caught up to what had happened. Like you said, that he just kind of like restarted the whole experiment with him as part of it instead,
Right.
Which was interesting. It was definitely an interesting twist. Yeah, I mean, it's a good book, and like aside from like the middle of the first arc, I think it's really been solid all the way through, and it's going to be really interesting now that like at first he had the one character that was on the outside of everything and said, we can still save the world. That's what happened before it went on hiatus. And now you've got this other character and it's like, okay, let's try this now and see if we can make it work with you instead of him. And yeah, it's interesting. I wonder like what the end game is. Like who is somebody going to solve this? How are they going to get out of this?
Or are they going to be stuck there? Like, what is his end game? Is his end game to keep everybody there? I think it seems like that's what it is,
Yeah. It makes me wonder if the world's even destroyed or if he's just like kidnapped all his best friends because he doesn't want to be alone.
Yeah.
What is really happening here?
Yeah. It's an interesting book. It's very intriguing, very different. My only downfall is, and I said this in my show, is that the artwork takes me away from the book a bit because there's so many characters and it's hard to remember them all. And they don't have a distinct, like, I guess, something about them that makes you remember them, Walter has those glasses. So it's like, I know that's Walter. All the other characters kind of look the same,
Yeah, most of them. I think there's maybe one or two, like the one that's in the house now by herself.
Right.
She kind of stands out, but the rest of them, like the one character that he walks in on, Molly, I think was her name. I was like, I don't remember who this is. Who is this character?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's nothing that really makes them stand out, and that has to do with the art, I feel. That's what I like about when you have a comic book that has a lot of characters. If you have very detailed art, it makes it easy to remember, okay, this character is that character and so on, so, but overall, I liked it. I think it's a good story. I am so curious to see where it'll go from here.
Right.
All right. Well, let's talk about this next book, which I'm just letting you know right now. And Brant looks like they didn't even read it. So, and I get burned on this crap every time. What if Miles Morales was flipping Captain America?
And what if he wasn't? Then everything would be fine because we didn't need this book.
It's continuing though. That's why.
Yeah, no, different characters though.
Yeah, because it's an actual story, right? Where Miles becomes Captain America. His Uncle Aaron's involved. All that crazy stuff. There's the Gray Skull that's involved, and they come across the Cosmic Cube, and they open this time-dimensional thing where you can travel to different universes, and they blew it up at the end, and Miles wound up seeing all these different versions of himself, and that's how all of these characters are going to be in his little universe now. Not original.
I wasn't invested.
Done. Like, why do we need this? So after I got done with this, I'm like, not reading it again. We already got it from Spider-Verse. We're getting it from Gwenverse. We don't need it from this character also. It's not just...
Well, even with this one, just focusing on one, like the reason I think I have a little bit more home for Gwenverse is at least it's all like different characters interacting with each other. So there might be a little bit more story. Like they're not just one individually being introduced. This one's like just the one character doing the same thing that we saw with Spider-Man, except maybe it's Captain America this time. And it's just the same exact story.
Yeah. Mike Knight has a good one. What if Comic Uno was Spider-Sled?
Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know what would happen. I don't know how our lives would be different.
That would be weird.
I don't know. Yeah, just be weird. That's it. I know. I wish I had a better answer than
to
that.
switch places, switch channels like one day.
Yeah, right.
Just see what happens.
It'd be like, I'm Comic Uno, and she'd be like, hi, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. That'd be hilarious.
And I'll do a haul, and you read all your books on Wednesday, and
I think we got another super chat here from Comic Toby. Thank you so much for contributing to the channel.
Thank you.
It helps a lot. Well, I'm glad we don't talk dollars and cents on these channels above cover price. That is.
Yeah, I mean, we like talking about collecting, and obviously we like talking about the movies and TV shows, but we're mostly here to talk about the stories. We're here to talk about, what we like about comics.
I know everyone likes to see and talk about how much their comics are worth, and and I like that too, but when we all started YouTube, there was no speculator thing. There really wasn't. There was all about what comics you collected, and you talked about the stories. And we've pretty much stayed on that same format this entire time and let the other speculators talk about the speculation. Obviously, I feel like those channels do really well just because, again, people want to see how much their collections are worth, right? So, but we stay true to who we are. And, if we talk about some of that speculation every once in a while, we do that. But we're in it for the main reason why we started loving comics to begin with, not because of how much value they are, but because of why we fell in love with them for the first place, the stories, right? And everything else on top of that is a bonus. What was that? I didn't see that because I was talking.
No, Comic Uno becomes Spider Slayer. Spider Slayer takes over publishing duties, and Brant becomes Comic Uno. Man, oh man, what a world!
That would be interesting.
It would be one day on April Fools. So Jeff says, I always collected for story arc characters. Just recently started speccing because I'm trying to start a business around it. It feels a bit slimy, must admit. I think there's a healthy balance. I like the business side of comics. I enjoy hearing what the speccing is all about, but it's not why I buy my comics in particular.
Right.
I just enjoy reading them, and if
I love
worth something, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I love collecting key issues because there are comics out there that I don't have. So, I don't go out there and buy 5 copies of one comic book. If there's a book that I think that's cool that I don't have in my collection, I'm going to buy it, right? And there's a lot of old stuff I don't have. So that's why it's like I said, I'm very hesitant about sending books to CGC because I only have that one copy. And if that one copy gets damaged, I don't know if I'll get another one ever again. So I'm very hesitant on that. But yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, the business side is tough, man. Selling comics, I'm sure, is not an easy thing. People do it all the time. That's the way they're living. It's tough. All right,
selling our own comics is hard. So I can only imagine selling other people's comics.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Shit, when I have a garage sale and I sell my comics, I freaking get anxiety over it. I'm like, am I going to sell something, or am I going to sell it for too cheap, or it's tough.
Yeah, did you sell it for the right price? You're going to make people happy. It's definitely a hardship.
Exactly. All right, next we're going to talk about crossover issue 12. Let me tell you, man, this was my favorite issue of the series so far.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
It was because of Negan, but all around though it was good. I mean, I even thought though a little bit in the beginning with Robert Kirkman rambling on a lot. I was like, man, this is going on way too much. But at the same time, as a Walking Dead fan, I appreciated it because he kind of gave you the explanation of why he wrote The Walking Dead and why he continued it and why he created Negan and all that great stuff, And then I totally loved just how he bashed his brains in. I always yeah, that's freaking awesome right there. It's so good. But not even to that point, to the point where they go back to Donny Cates. He gets out of jail. He takes the freaking exclamation point, the word bubble, and he sits there and he stabs the guy in the freaking shoulder and whatnot. I thought that was so badass. And then Ellie, I think is her name, she's just like, whoa, did you just cut your hair? He's like, that's something that you do in comics. You just do it off panel, you know?
Yeah.
I just thought stuff like that. I thought that was so well done, man. Overall, a great issue. And now you're getting back to the action. And I loved it. I really did.
I think this, oh, you go, Brett.
I was just gonna say I like that scene you were talking about because he was like people were getting confused with the Alan Moore thing, and it was there was a lot of fun like inside stuff with this issue, and I like how transparent Kirkman was in those first few pages too, with like did it for the money, stuff like that. I mean, obviously you talked about the story and the love for the characters and all that stuff, but the money was pretty nice too. So it was fun. This was the kind of stuff that I liked about the Chip Zdarsky issue as well. And it makes those slower issues that we had to kind of get through worth it to get to this kind of story. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, this should have been the book the whole time. I don't care about the other characters. I like just reading about comic writers being comic writers or comic artists being comic artists. I like that Kirkman was humanized because he's somebody who's so big that he's kind of reached above comics. And I'm not saying comics are small, but it's like he's so untouchable because of everything he's done. So to see him just humanize and show that he loves comics just as much as he loves making money was really important. And I love having that conversation between him and Negan, and it's just written so well. In this book, man, it's really surprised me. And I do still agree that there's uphills and downhills for this book, but I think it's been an uphill for these past couple issues for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really good. And you found out who was killing the people, all this time, And I like how they said, dude, you're black and white. It's just, there was so many great stuff in there, man.
A lot of good jokes. There was even the Powers cop saying, like, who the hell would want to go back to The Walking Dead? Who wants to go back to that universe? Yeah. We do have another super chat from Comic Toby. An easy $2 because he asks, are Marvel and DC made in America? The companies are in America, but there are creators that don't always live in America.
Yeah.
I think it's the best answer to give.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly where their printers are either. I know they used to use printers in Canada.
Just know they need to change their paper.
Marvel, yeah.
Man, oh man. Some of them are okay, but others are really, really bad. So
they're not as bad as they used to be, though.
They're not as bad as they used to be. There's a couple of them that are still really... Strange Academy is one of them. Mm-hmm. The last issue that I wound up getting, I opened it up, and I kid you not, it was legit like a paper bag. It was like, I'm like, what is this? Every page, I'm like, oh, this is just horrible, absolutely horrible. We got another super chat in here for New Type. JB Lee. $5 says, I wish Miles worked well in 616 because him being there potentially allows Peter to have his happy ending with MJ and leave the mantle to a successor.
I mean, I think we all wish Miles was working better in the 616. We love the character, but man, they just do not know what to do with him.
From the very first series, when he was in the 616, it has not worked. My opinion, your opinion too, Kat, but it has not worked for me. It was Brian Michael Bendis had something special there when he had it in the Ultimate Universe. He really did.
Yeah, and it's like when he does pop up in other places. Like I think at times he was better in Champions. He's been better like when he appeared in Darkhawk. I like that appearance. When he teams up with other characters, it feels more like Miles. But when he's in his own book, it's just there's just something missing there.
An enemy, a nemesis.
Well, for sure.
I think just like even his meshing of his supporting characters, I just think a cohesive direction is really the big thing here. I'm a little confused by this question, but Cougar Crumbly says, if you read a Marvel comic right now, the grade instantly goes to a high of 7.8. Is that from like the level of the quality or like the actual review?
It might be maybe he's talking about the quality of the paper.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of 9.8s
out there. Is so bad because in some of them, like I said, they're so crinkly. Like you open it up and it's like you know, and some of them are like real wavy. So without a press, that book would probably go down pretty far. You know, even if you didn't open it, if that paper is that bad, it probably would be a low grade.
Which sucks if that's like the cleanest you can get too.
That's the shitty thing about it. Yeah, but if you get your comics graded, you know, the thing to do is obviously, and I hear from everybody, no matter what, get that comic book cleaned and pressed, and it will get out a lot of those minor defects. So hopefully you do get that higher grade. So just, you know, keep that in mind. So, but that's if you decide to send it out to CGC or all those other places, you know.
We also had another comment about Peter Parker. They should have never killed Peter Parker off in Ultimate Spider-Man. See, I feel like that's still one of my favorite stories, like ever.
Yeah,
that's a really good story.
Peter Parker. I really liked it. And I definitely don't think his death is the reason why Miles doesn't work in the regular universe. I think Miles was a wonderful character for like 5 years. It's just because they shifted him. I think he's such a good character. And I love that they killed off Peter Parker and he mostly stayed dead. I know he came back and he like walked to the sunset, but he also he wasn't permanently in the story anymore. They literally just said goodbye to him and then we never saw him again. And I still think that's one of the most beautiful stories because he literally is gone. We don't have stories with him anymore.
Yeah. Right. And that's something you could never do in the 616. He would always come back. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's why he should have just stayed in they should have just kept that Ultimate Universe. And again, the sky's the limit over there because you can do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So a shame, but we'll see. You never know. I mean, we could get a different writer. Something could come along. You know, he's still a very popular character. I love him. You know, just hopefully he gets some better stories. All right. So let's move on to our number 4. And I'll go first this time. And my number 4 was a book that we talked about, and that was Strange, issue 1. And so Brent, what was yours? Number 1 or number 4?
Mine was She-Hulk, number 2. I think I liked the last issue a little bit better, but I still liked a lot of elements of this issue. Mostly just the She-Hulk stuff, just little things like, you know, mannerisms, the way she interacts with people throughout the issue, that kind of thing. Just kind of, it felt like this is She-Hulk again. This is who we've been missing for so long. But also the stuff with Jack of Hearts and learning like where he's been and, you know, what's going on with him. Can't drink, but apparently he can. Yeah, and it's like who had him, who was keeping him captive, who's in the background, who's that watching all this go on. Yeah,
shows maybe it might not even be him at all.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, I love a good mystery, and that, you know, it definitely had elements of that, and, you know, so I thought it was a pretty good issue.
It feels like Runaways for She-Hulk. It really feels like the same tone of that book is going into this, which I liked. I mean, I had a good time with this one.
Yeah.
I like this book, but it wasn't in my top 5. Just because all the stuff that Brant pointed out, I wanted more of, right? Like, I love the last 2 pages of this book. So we finally got to see Jen and, you know, in her fancy suit and those glasses. And right there, I was like, that's the Jen Walters that I know, the confident Jennifer Walters, right? And her going out into the neighborhood and people looking at her like awkwardly, and just like, that's the stuff that I loved about the book. I'm not saying that I didn't like this stuff with Jack of Hearts, because it kind of gets you up to speed of the character and whatnot, but I just felt that was too much. That took up the entire book. And she was stuck in the apartment the whole time. Again, I liked it, but I wanted more of what I saw at the end. And I'm sure we'll get that, but that's just why it didn't hit my top 5 for me.
Yeah, I get that. And it also bothered me a little bit that we, again, continuity shifts, because last week we had, was it last week? Fantastic Four. It was this week. But it was the last issue of Fantastic Four that Jack of Hearts showed up, and it's like, he literally just showed up on She-Hulk's doorstep.
What is the continuity though in that Reckoning
Right.
War? Like, there's characters
Yeah.
all over the place, and
Right.
it's just like, really, So I don't know.
I don't love the big events of Marvel right now because of how nothing matters in the actual comic books that these characters are dealing with. Fantastic Four being one of them, and now Daredevil as well with Devil's Reign.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fantastic Four, real quick, last week you guys asked me like, what book was it that you guys couldn't leave it out? It was Fantastic Four that I ranked above Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's
still disagree with that one.
Yeah, I disagree with it myself. I don't know what I was thinking.
See, that was the COVID brain speaking.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm glad we're on the same page then. We do have a super chat. Comic Toby, $2. Thank you so much. Is everybody hyped for tomorrow's new comic book day? Yes, but there's so many. I don't know how I'm going to read it all.
Yeah, freak, man. There's so many number ones and great books getting ready to come out, but the following week there's not that much. So it's.
I wish they spread it out.
Yeah, I do too. Definitely. All right, so let's continue this. And guys, thank you so much for the support on the channel. Thank you so much for the super chats this evening. And if you can, which helps tremendously, is all you got to do is just hit that like button. And again, this helps people, let everybody know that this live stream exists, and we get more people to watch it. So, and keep the questions coming. We love talking here. So next we're going to talk, oh God, this fucking book.
Did
Amazing
you do your number
Spider-Man.
4, Kat?
Oh yeah, did you go?
Did you do your number 4?
No, I didn't, and I didn't even notice I didn't do my number 4. Focus on issue 1. We already talked about it.
Okay, so it's quick. So let me go back to my oh fuck moment. We're going to go to the Amazing Spider-Man issue 91. I didn't like this book.
No.
This, my God.
What was this?
So I
like the ending. I like the new lizard.
That's not even new. It's just like he's
new. He's ugly. He's ugly.
He's got like wings or something. It's weird.
And then all the twips.
What happens is that I think you kind of took a serious situation with Ben Reilly, where he's got holes in his memory. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to function, right? Which is a very serious story. But then you tried to mix in humor in something that is very serious, and it just didn't work, right?
Yeah. So who wrote? Was it Thompson that wrote this issue?
Kelly Thompson.
Yeah. So that's the one problem with having multiple writers doing one story, is that you're going to get their different voices all over it, and when you're continuing, like if this like took a turn and like focused on another character or whatever, or another situation, that would have been better, I think, and it would have served that voice better. But like going from last issue and last couple issues to that comical thing that she's more known for, it just it didn't gel. It didn't work here, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, it's like you're trying to get in the Beyond Corporation's secret villain headquarters of where they created all these super villains, and then it was just like they made it into this gag, and it just didn't work at all. And then you got Misty Knight and her other chick friend, I forget who
Colleen Wing.
Yeah, driving in with that car, that made it even more stupid. I'm like, my God, why are we doing this? Like, it just did not work at all. It took all the momentum that we gained from what issue was it, 88, 89, and 90, right? Those 3 issues.
Yeah.
And then 91 comes out, and you just got this big turd on the ground. That is just what it felt like. It was just like, oh wow.
I didn't hate this issue, but I definitely don't think it was as good as the previous ones. I still like the cliffhanger. I think there's some good Ben Spidey moments, but I didn't like Misty Knight or Colleen Wing here, which is a shame because I want to like them.
The lizard thing is they're fighting a Godzilla. That's basically all it is.
So excited for Ugly Lizard.
And you know what? I hopefully the battle will be cool, but he'll get fixed. I mean, that's what it is, unless it's some clone or something like that. I don't know, but
I'm definitely more interested in what's going on with Red Goblin or whatever her face is. Red Queen Goblin.
Queen Goblin.
Queen Goblin. I'm
rhymes with Green Goblin.
Yeah, remember that. Not Goblin Queen, because that's part of the X-Men.
Queen Goblin. Yeah, no, I missed her. I missed that, like you guys were saying. Like it was definitely more cohesive before. But it's almost over this arc, so we will have one writer on the book again, which will be nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a shame because I want like Kelly Thompson Spider-Man content, and I hate that this was what she was on, because I feel like if they gave her like a mini series or something, it would have been more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a fantastic writer, and I love her stuff. It's just it did not work in this instance the way it was.
Book, yeah.
You know, a book I didn't like, which I don't think it's on. Yeah, it's not on our list. Is Devil's Reign Spider-Man? Didn't like that.
Oh, that was bad too.
That I did not enjoy. I thought this was better than that, because that was just boring.
Yeah, both of the Devil's Reign books this week were
was really bad.
Yeah.
I was like,
I wish I didn't pick it up. Honestly, I thought it was not. It was so fillerish, and I'm like, oh, this didn't matter.
Just unnecessary. That's basically what it was. All right, let's get off the graphic books. Let's talk about Dark Knights of Steel issue 5. What do you think?
Great book.
This one was good.
Great book.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, there's so much that happened. Like character-wise, you have a little bit of the Zara stuff between Wonder Woman. Got some good Harley, Poison Ivy moments, but then the ending with Superman and Batman stabbing him, and then the ending again. We get another cliffhanger with Martha and John Kent showing up.
Yeah.
I was like, man, after one
so
after
good.
the other, is just like such a well-balanced issue.
But didn't
it
I
also
feel it from the beginning, from that first issue? I said that I was like, when is it going to happen when Superman and Batman are going to fight each other?
Yeah.
I said that, and it happened, but I did not see the Ma Pa thing coming. I did not see that at all.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, and like this issue made me question what I actually read myself. Like, did Zara kill Black Lightning's kid?
Right?
It's like, wait a minute.
So convincing.
Yeah, because I'm like,
a complete liar. A complete liar. And what did she tell Clark?
Right.
Well, also, but maybe it just shows both elves are bad. They're just both like bad people.
Yeah, it's so complex. This story, so many moving parts of it. Yeah.
But doesn't feel overwhelming. Like even though there's a lot that happened, it didn't feel like, whoa, that was too much.
No, it feels like a really quick read. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's just a page turner. You're so into it, and you're kind of like, it's one of these comics that you're like, man, I can't wait what happens to the next page. Oh, here we go. And then you just automatically go, boom. And it happens. And then you're like, whoa. And then you're like, that's when a comic gets you, where it's just like, you get immersed in it. It's not a chore to read. Mm-hmm. It's just like Amazing Spider-Man over there. Like this book is just amazing. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the great thing is we still have like 6 more issues of this. Like, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
I want a sequel announced today. Like, I hate when they announce like little miniseries like connected to this the worlds, but I'm like, no, I want sequels. I want everything. I'm so excited for more. Only if Tom Taylor's writing them, but yeah, I want to see like spin-offs and stuff like that. I'd really like to see.
All right, so we got a couple comments here, just saying. I think we got it. This is Joshua, I think. I'm so sad Joker is ending at 14. But it will come back. It was announced that they're releasing it again.
We don't know what writer, though.
We don't know the writer, though. So we got to stay tuned for that one. And then what did Tevia say here? Dark Knights of Steel is freaking nuts, but I am tired of evil Superman. Hey, man, who cares? That book is good. I don't care. And he may not be really an evil Superman. He could be
controlled by Zara's lies. Zala.
Yeah, exactly. He could be manipulated. Wrong information. It could be anything. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I'd rather have a evil Superman than a bad Superman.
boring one.
Yeah. So if that's the way people are going to read Superman, then hey, why not? Till we get someone that can write him the right way. So, but I heard good things about the Superman Action Comics right now. So it just depends if it's your style of book or not, right?
Right.
All right, let's keep going here. We're going to move on to our number 3 picks. So my number 3 was a book we talked about already. It was Crossover. Kat, what was your number 3?
Mine was She-Hulk. We already talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Brant?
Mine was Rogue Sun, which we already talked about as well.
All right. That was easy enough. All right, let's continue on now. Let's talk about Fantastic Four, issue 41, a continuation of the Reckoning War.
I never thought I'd be at a point where I want to drop this book, and I won't, because I want to like see it through, because I like this series as a whole, but I do not like this arc. I am so bored. I'm like, I might drop it just for this arc and then pick it up later, but I'm like, but then I might lose. Like, I want to know like the big moments that happen. So like, I really don't want to drop this book, but I really don't like this arc.
Yeah, I liked the idea of it going in, and I thought I was like getting into it, right? And then like I with this issue, I realized like the error of my ways and saw what you guys are saying, that this is just all over the place and so much going on. There were still little things that I liked, the callback to Thing seeing his death before, doing that, and Silver Surfer with Galactus and the new Ultimate Galactus Destroyer thing, whatever. What it is, it's just so much.
What
I know.
is that though? Like,
right.
I thought it was cool enough if they just resurrected Galactus.
Yeah.
Why did we have to mix him with the Destroyer to make him Destroyer Galactus? Like, what is
he already destroys?
It just was too over the top. And that's what this comic is. It's just over the top. There's too much of what's going on. You got Johnny
not enough
Storm.
heart.
Yeah.
There's like no heart to it either. Like, there's no like real character beats. Which sucks, because this book was all about character beats before.
Yeah,
there's too much. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading too, just because I enjoyed this series up until this event.
Mm-hmm.
But this shows that for me, like, Dan Slott is not a great event writer. Like, he wrote when he was doing Iron Man, he did Iron Man 2020. We know how that turned out, right? and so now he's doing this, and even though he's writing a great, obviously it's all opinionated, but for us, we've enjoyed Fantastic Four. But again, when it comes to the event, it's just like he's trying to pack all this in, and it's just like sometimes less is better, So just doesn't need to be so grand.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes we, like with an event that spreads out into too many books or has too many mini series attached to it, we're like, okay, you need to contain that a little bit. But with this kind of thing, it's like you need more room to tell the story. You need those side stories so you can focus on those core characters, and we're not getting that. We're just getting
I mean,
crowds of
right.
action.
And I was like, wow, Dan Slott is, the one bright point again was that Galactus point. I'm like, oh, Dan Slott's actually, bringing back Galactus. And then, like I said, we do that. So, I don't know. All right. Iron Man 2020 gave me COVID.
I want to hear the backstory of that one.
Oh, God, that's hilarious. All right, let's go forward here. Let's talk about Noctera, issue 8. So Kat doesn't read this. Brandon, what did you think about this one? I thought this one was an improvement from the last one.
Yeah, definitely an improvement from last issue and the one-shot thing before that. Still not quite as good as that first run, though. Interesting things happen here with the cliffhanger where Blacktop Bill is having to team up with our heroes, our main characters in the book, which is really interesting. That was a nice twist that I did not see coming at all.
Yeah.
You've got her brother M is starting to hear these voices that Blacktop Bill is also hearing, and they see this master plan that's forming. And now they got to work together to stop it. So I thought that was at least an interesting twist and an interesting use of that character that I was kind of growing tired of. So
yeah, absolutely. because Blacktop Bill got to see the big, let's call it Null-like character, right?
Yeah.
That's what he saw. And he saw that the character is basically in it to take over everything. So now they got to figure out a way to stop this. And same thing. I found that very intriguing, and now it's pushing the story forward. And I was like, all right, I'm on board again. I'm excited now, which I was hoping for this issue. Give me something different that, instead of them running around avoiding, these little creatures all the time and searching for Blacktop Bill,
Yeah, if this issue had been like last issue, I don't know what my reaction would have been, because it would have started to lose me for real. Yeah.
Right. So here's this comment here. I didn't actually get COVID, but I think Iron Man 2020 may have been worse than I was just getting back into comics. Imagine my surprise when I read I Wolverine, because I wanted to read everything. Listen,
that's the lesson learned. Don't read everything.
When you get back into comics, you get like super excited about it, and you're just like, oh, I gotta check this out. But can you imagine getting back into comics, reading Iron Man 2020?
I couldn't. I was in comics and I was confused.
Yeah, and I did actually get COVID, and I agree. It was. I don't know about that, but it was a bad story. Yeah.
All right, so we got that down. So let's talk about our number 2 books. Kat, what was your number 2?
Dark Knights of Steel, issue 5.
All right. What about you, Brent?
Crossover.
All right. Mine was Dark Knights of Steel as well.
Nice.
So now we move on to, our number 1s, because we already talked about these other books. So my number 1 was Rogue Sun, issue 1. Really, really enjoyed that book, because again, we have done so many introductions to superheroes, and we've seen the superhero story done to death. And like Brant pointed out earlier, it was the way they wrote the book, and that made it so intriguing that you want to read more. All right. So it was really well done. All right. Brant, what was your number 1?
Mine was Dark Knights of Steel.
All right. And Kat?
Mine was Crossover, issue 12.
Sweet. All right. So very good. There were your top 5 comics. So I guess now we'll dive into some news, which
lack thereof. This will be relatively quick besides our main topic. So let's shout out your Kickstarter first, Brant, and then we'll do our main topic, and then we'll go to the only 2 other news pieces we have after that.
All right, so you guys can check it out at bloomprettycomic.com. Got to pull up the tab here. This is actually my wife's campaign, and we got 1 week to go now. We are thankfully killing it. We're over 28,000 again. Beautiful. For the second time in the past hour because it went down. But this is the biggest campaign we've ever run. It's a story of romance, obsession, murder, and plant people. Just imagine everybody is Poison Ivy basically, but it's in a fantasy setting, a mature reader fantasy setting. Everybody's got these plant hybrid abilities and everything, and it's an all-female creative team, which is great on International Women's Day today. So happy Women's Day to everyone out there. And here's a look at some of the art by Carola Borelli, very talented artist. We got some great covers. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you can go check it out again at bloomprettycomic.com. 1 week to go. We're announcing a new stretch goal tomorrow, and we've still got some other surprises in the works as well. So
we do also have some comments before we jump into our main topic. So what's the current status of Franklin Richards in Fantastic Four? He doesn't have his powers, ? I think.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Right.
I think that was his last space.
He's just a regular person.
Yep.
Now, the other 2 questions here is, did you guys see the new trailer of DMZ? It's based on the old Vertigo comic. I remember when that book was out, but I didn't see the trailer. I saw that the trailer exists, but I didn't see the trailer.
I didn't watch it either.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. I didn't read the series either, so.
And then the last thing we'll talk about here is, does anyone on the panel read Maestro series?
Mike.
I do. Yeah, and I love it. It's absolutely all 3 stories so far. Well, they've come out with 2 and 1 issue of the newest one. and I loved every single one of them. I mean, Peter David is killing it. The dude's the master on the Hulk anyway, so it's like why would he not be a great writer for this character? I would love to go back and read all his Hulk stuff from the day.
Now, jumping into our main topic of tonight, which is thankfully something came out for this because we had a title. The Amazing Spider-Man issue 900. We have some news about it. First, there was a teaser from yesterday that looked like it was just going to be the return of Dr. Octopus. And we're like, wait, there's going to be something right before the podcast airs. And it's actually this creature called Sinister Adaptoid, who is a culmination of all the Sinister Six members in one person. Which made me a little happier because I was worried where I was just like, I don't give a shit if Dr. Octopus returns again. Like, we saw that so recently, and when I saw this, I was like, oh, that's at least interesting. That's something different. I could go on. I won't say I'm like, oh my God, that's the most exciting thing ever, but I'm like, oh, I'm interested. That's cool.
Also, adding to that, Ed McGuinness on the art. I'm kind of excited about that for that issue. I saw that,
and I was like, yes. I'm like,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so and then you got this creature, and you don't know like where he came from. I mean, there's a character called the Super Adaptoid, and this is like a version of that somebody's brought back according to the article. And has like, you know, there's the image. He's got Sandman's hand. He's got Kraven's little thing. He's got Electro powers. Doc Ock.
Green.
I do like how he has like the Electro's mask on.
Yeah,
which I think is hilarious. I thought the design of the character looks really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the art looks obviously amazing.
Yeah. It's like Spidey's own Super Skrull enemy.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
So I mean, I was excited to hear that. Now, the Super Adaptoid is an Avengers character, right? Is that from what I heard?
believe so, yeah. That's what the article said. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, listen, even if 900 comes out and you just get this character to start with, I'm okay with that. You know, it's just kind of the celebratory issue, right? From what I read in the article as well, I heard that this character was created by another villain.
Yeah.
So he's put out there for some reason.
Cool.
So
and somebody from Peter's past. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, from someone from his past.
And again, you know, we all were very skeptical about Queen Goblin. We're like, that sounds stupid. And like, oh, and then when you found out who it was, I'm like, that's stupid. And then we started reading her and like, oh, she's actually kind of interesting and is the best part of Beyond so far. So that's why I'm like, definitely have more of an open mind. It's the same writer, great creative team. I'm interested.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this could be cool. And, you know, even if it is just like a throwaway villain that is going to get defeated easily, because there's somebody behind it, there's a deeper story there that hopefully we'll dig into. And
absolutely.
And Terry Osborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is it green?
Right. I'm curious.
It's Liz Allen. We knew she was going to be
Kindred.
involved.
It's Kindred. Oh no. I'm curious who's going to be on the art after that issue. Like Ramita's doing his little run, and then McGuinness is doing that issue. Like I really want to see who's after that. So
right.
Yeah, and who's going to be like the doing artist?
Ramita's doing the first. What is it? 5?
5 or 6?
Issues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So it's almost like we said. It's like 5 issues. Mm-hmm. I'm tired, man. I need a break. Okay, Ed, here, come do the 900 and maybe JR, why don't you just kind of just like stay back there?
Do some variant covers.
You could do one in 2 months from now. Let's keep Ed McGuinness on the title.
Yeah,
I would love.
I'm good with that.
I really would, because his artwork reminds me of classic comics, right? So that's what I would want as an artist.
It's just so much cleaner too. Just looking at the villain, if that was drawn by Romita Jr., I think we have different thoughts.
He can't even do that. That's the thing. Like, he can't even do it.
Yeah,
it would be all every time, a stick.
Yeah, every time I see Ed McGuinness, I just think of Superman, Batman. That series when he was drawing that was just so good.
That's good stuff. Point. Yeah, absolutely. Didn't he do Hulk stuff too?
Yeah.
Yeah. His Hulk work was pretty good also,
Mm-hmm.
from what I remember. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm looking forward to it. It can't come soon enough. Just in general, just a new volume, so we can push it forward, and we get Peter back. We get him back to the way he was, and then we can keep our fingers crossed that this will be the run that we're waiting for.
And I guess no Mary Jane with the teases, so that sucks. But we'll see what happens with that.
Maybe it's just an argument. Maybe it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like they tend to blow things out of the water. They showed that teaser, that motion comic teaser, and they have them like,
you left a toilet seat up. That's the argument.
Yeah, right. Come on, Peter. You didn't give me the right coffee today.
I hope so. You know, I need a good slice of life Spider-Man issue. All right. Well, let's move on to the only other news piece for comics, and that is Gun Honey gets another volume with an art germ cover. You know, Mike reads it. Excited for another volume.
Yeah, I mean, what is her name? I forgot her name already. Pamela Tan, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, you do Art Germ that does the covers, right? And I think it was Adam Hughes that's also going to be doing the covers.
Oh, nice.
I mean, you cannot ask for anything more. I showed it to everybody here earlier. I don't know if I can get it up, but maybe I can find it real quick, like I found it before. But you got Gun Honey, and they already have the Art Germ cover up, and she actually is covered in honey, which is
it looked like a cool cover.
Hilarious.
Definitely a sellable cover.
Here it is, right here. So hopefully, there's not too much of a glare, so you get on my phone.
I'll do you one better.
Cover.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Good.
That does look very cool.
So I have a feeling.
Hopefully, it's new reader friendly. Maybe it'll be.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it is. But yeah, a lot of cover collectors out there, variant cover lovers, are going to love that. And I'm curious to see what the Adam Hughes cover is going to be like when that one comes out. So he's done some great Elektra stuff and Black Widow stuff this year, and She-Hulk too. He's recently done one for that too.
I think Black Widow's his best work in a long time. Like his Black Widow covers are so not even just visually interesting, just like creatively interesting as well. Just the way they drew that, it's so good. But let's get into the last news piece, guys. Already, Negan and Maggie is getting a Walking Dead spinoff show.
This is so weird.
How is that even possible? Like,
yeah,
I want to know now. Like, how does the show end that these two were working together like this?
Yeah, because I mean, last I saw, they hated each other. I mean, she hated him. Yeah.
Also, the biggest actors getting making more Walking Dead content, I think is interesting. They must have threw so much money at them.
They must have.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is like in the comics, Rick and Negan became friends at the end. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if they're kind of like they put aside their differences and they became friends. So I'm kind of thinking maybe this is in that same aspect, but instead it's Maggie and Negan. And I actually will give this show a try just because these are, besides like Rick, like these were my two favorite characters in the show. So I want to see how they interact with each other and like, what's the point of this show? That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Like where I left off, he was trying to redeem himself. Right. And she was like just wanting nothing to do with him. So I'm really curious to see how they get to that point.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Those two and Glenn before he died were my favorite characters in the show. So I'll give it a shot.
I do miss the days when Walking Dead just got popular and that show was the shit and everybody and their mother was talking about it. I mean, I never saw a show get so popular before in my life, especially a comic book show at that time, because they were one of the first comic book shows to really hit it off.
Yeah.
Mr. Shark makes a good point. Walking Dead 100 would be so valuable if it weren't mass produced. Yeah. That's definitely a shame.
I mean, I have every single copy, I think, of Walking Dead 100. I'm pretty sure I do.
Wow.
And I even have one.
Yeah, because I even gave you the San Diego copy, I think. When I went
there. You
gave
me the final issue from San
That was the
Diego.
final issue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the
But
final
no,
issue.
that issue, Cat, though, has some value to it.
Oh, does it? I'm not surprised because
it does.
they did not have a good run on like a big run for that.
Because you gave me, I think it was a variant. I think it was. So, yeah, that's why it had some value. I don't remember. I haven't checked it in quite a while, but yeah, it was. I was pretty excited about it. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm looking forward to the show, man. And I do miss that series, at its height, and I really do miss the comic, man. Like I really do.
You got that Negan crossover story.
Yeah. You got the deluxe versions coming out. You can just reread it in color. I know it's not the same. Yeah.
Like, it was so good when it was your first read, and that's why I'm happy for people that have not read it before, like younger readers out there and reading it for the first time. They're in for a wild ride, man. It's so good.
Yeah.
Where's Firepower? It's been so long since that came out.
Oh wow, yeah,
I think
you're right.
Said April, I think it was.
Oh, God. It's been so long.
Super chat.
Oh, here we go. New type JB Lee says, "Isn't it sad that last time I was excited for Amazing Spider-Man was when Otto was Spidey? He was more interesting than Peter. He really was."
That's what we talked about last week.
Yep. Yeah. And same thing. That was a good run. So don't want to rehash our conversation from last week and go back and watch it last week. But yeah, I think we all were like hesitant with that, but ended up enjoying it for the most part. So
yeah, absolutely.
For sure. All right. Well, now we're going into the most anticipated comics for tomorrow, and technically today too, because of the DC books. And let me tell you, I'm getting so many freaking books tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at our list, and it's like Kat and I, all three of ours are #1 issues.
Yeah, and
even though they're not the same.
Yeah, except one of them. Yeah, they're all different, which is there's just so many issue ones. Hopefully some of them are really great and not all duds. Because a lot of times when issue ones come out and there's so many, you're like, some of them are probably not going to be great.
Right.
Yeah. So what are yours, Kat?
All right, mine is #3 is Little Monsters issue 1. I believe this is a Substack book for Jeff Lemire as well, but Jeff Lemire has a new book and it's Jeff Lemire, so I'm going to pick it up. And art looks really good. Yeah, Dustin Nguyen, I believe, is doing the art. So yeah, looking forward to that. Spider-Gwen Gwenverse issue 1. Just because we have not gotten Spider-Gwen in a long time, I don't think this is gonna be the best Spider-Gwen series by any means. But I just want my Spider-Gwen. And then #1, Naomi season 2 issue 1. I love season 1. I thought that was so good. And I'm just excited to see what the story is gonna be all about.
Nice. Mine. I know you guys aren't going to agree with this one, but Trial of the Amazons. I'm just really curious about it, and I think that's why I don't know. I just want to see what it's all about. And
I'm picking it up. I'm not excited for it.
I'll base, if I continue on from this issue, of course, because it's going into Wonder Woman and Nubia and, all
Nubia
all
comes
books.
out this week, so you have to get Nubia this week.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. So, but still, I'm excited. They've been hyping it up in the back of the books, and it looks interesting. So hopefully it'll be good. But then Radiant Red, #1. I just love this entire universe that they're crafting, and more of Radiant. I'm good with that. So
I didn't love the art style for her origin story. That's the only reason it didn't go in my top 3. But I did like her. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, she's a really interesting character. And then agreeing with you with Naomi season 2, #1. So really enjoyed that first one. Hopefully this one lives up to that. So we'll see.
And waited long enough.
Yeah, long time.
I'm agreeing with you, Brant, on Radiant. That's my #3. Love that character. Love how you thought she was the evil person at first, but then you got to know her story a bit more on why she robbed that bank that day. So I really like that. Then my #2 is Thor issue 23. This is the conclusion to the God of Hammer story. We're going to see if Thor can get his hammer back. Is his dad truly dead? He's powered up to all kinds of levels of craziness right now. So I am looking forward to how that story arc concludes. And then one of my, I would say, books that I never anticipated being as good as it is King of Spies, issue 4. This is the conclusion to that series as well. So we get to see our super spy here, who is dying of cancer, trying to get rid of everyone that has done him wrong over the years. He's in hot water, and now we get to see if he survives or if he's going to die, or does he die from his cancer? Like, what happens, man? This is a great Mark Millar book or Millar book, one of his best ones in quite some time.
Nice. If you love this last issue, I'm gonna have to get the trade, because I know you've been trying to get me to read it for the past couple issues. So
yeah. If you like the finale, I will get the trade.
Right.
Of it.
Absolutely.
That was always the worry, because those endings never work out for some reason. Even Huck.
Yeah.
Remember back in the day, we all loved Huck. Great book. And then that last issue, we're like, man, Huck didn't do as well.
Right.
King of Spies is great, man. It pushes the buttons just a little bit. The action is there, and I liked it. I really, really do. So hopefully it finishes strong, and we'll see where it goes.
Nice. All right. That's all I'm most anticipated now.
And that's it, man.
Yeah.
We're done. Any other questions we want to read off real quick before we sign off for tonight? Let's see what we got.
If there are any. A lot of people were just someone did ask, what is Substack? So a little quick info on that. It's pretty much all the big writers and artists from Marvel and DC join this newsletter website that is like a Netflix model to give their comics very early to the fans that subscribe to it and pay money on a monthly basis for them to get those comics. So Little Monsters, I do believe, was a Substack book. So something that started in that newsletter, and now all the Jeff Lemire books are being printed by Image. So they eventually most of them seem like eventually they're going to be printed, but they all start in this kind of Netflix model with Substack.
Got it.
What else we got here? Oh, Mike Manhattan asks, have you read Space Cadets or Magic Order 2? I have not. Oh, Bandits, sorry.
No, never read Magic Order 2. I've kind of fell off of Magic Order 1. But if there's a series that you're looking to read from him that I liked, well, we all read Kick-Ass, which is really good. It actually really is good. And now that you can get that in trade, you'll like it probably even more. And then another book that I really enjoyed from him was Nemesis. I thought that was a really intense book, but it's definitely one of the books that stood out for me. And it's another short one. It's like 4 issues maybe, and that was it.
Yeah. I've only read the first issue of Magic Order 2. I read the whole first series, but I fell way behind on this one. So
Jupiter's Legacy was the
original one.
Yeah, the original. Once it got too many, it got a little confusing. Especially the circle one, I didn't like that. And then I don't think we read the most recent volume. No. But the original Jupiter's Legacy was really solid.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I guess that's it, guys. We're going to sign off. It's a quick show today. Just didn't have that much news. So hopefully next week we'll have more news. Unfortunately, Brant won't be here next week. He is going out of town, so it's going to be just Kat and myself holding down the fort, talking about all those new number ones that have coming out tomorrow. So, guys, until then, have a great week. Enjoy your comic book day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss when our show goes live. Follow us on the social media, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all that stuff. So until next time, guys, this is us signing off, doing the traditional way. Guys, have a great night, and we will see you next week. Take care.